Hi, Mark Wight here with Idaho State Planning. This is Senior Matters Radio, the podcast version. Thank you for joining us today. It's February. And of course, we all know what February is remembered for. It's Groundhog's Day. Okay, that's one thing. But most people, it's Sweetheart Month, and we have Valentine's Day like right in the middle of it, like about halfway through. And in keeping with our year-long theme of preparing to age in place, and recognizing that a lot of people think that there's no place like home, and we believe that there is no place like home. Now, we'll talk at another time about where home might be and your choices in deciding that. But we also started a conversation about putting together your personal board of advisors. Last time I talked a little bit about rope teams. We're talking about the same general concept, and that is, do we have a community around us that can help us remain in our home longer, and as long as possible. And you've heard me say, and I'm going to say it again, I'm good with that as long as you're safe in your home and you have a high quality of life, meaning there's activities and socialization, and we are going to be talking about things that you can do to make sure that you have that as you age. Now, today, I wanted to talk about sweethearts. And the reason for that is that that's kind of our first line of defense, if you will, or the first person that jumps in to help out is our sweetheart, our spouse or significant other. And we make some commitments. So, for example, when you get married, you have marriage vows, and we talk about taking care of each other throughout our lives. And I think that's very important. And yes, most of our clients think that that's very important, and they talk about how to take care of each other, okay? So I wanted to, weigh in on that a little bit this month, and in this podcast, talk about how we can, take care of each other. So a little while ago, we had a couple come in their 80s, and his memory's not the same as it used to be. And there she was, had her hand on his arm, and she was kind of guiding him, both physically, come in here, here's the room, and then emotionally helping him to remember, remember what they were doing and why they're here, and here's the people. And, he needed a little bit of help. He really did. But I thought that was awesome. They were taking care of each other. I'm a little concerned as we go along. She's not a very big lady, and he's pretty good sized. And there's going to be a time, or there could be a time, where, he needs more physical help, and she might not be able to do that. So I want to talk a little bit about that, and how we can take care of each other. Neighbors, in our older neighborhood, we had some neighbors there. She had a stroke, and he dropped everything to take care of her, and it was incredible. But he wasn't able to do that by himself. So he had, if you will, his rope team, his personal board of advisors, and on his board were his kids. All boys. The boys pitched in. They took turns. They came over and helped out with yard work. Or sat with her while he did yard work, or sat with her while he got a chance to get out, and do some things. All very important things. And that's how they were able to take care of each other, is that they had a good team. They had a good personal board of advisors. So if I can move that forward a little bit, remember when we talked about the personal board of advisors, there's a couple of things that we had in mind. One, financially, are we able to stay in our home? Financially, are we able to bring in a little help should we need it? So one of the people I think you should have on your board of advisors, and we mentioned this, at least in passing, is a financial advisor. Insurance person, financial advisor, these are people that can help you get prepared in case you need a little bit extra help, right? If you need some more help, it's going to cost money. And in the Treasure Valley, here in the Boise area, as you know, the cost of care is not going down. And the cost of hiring people is not going down. I've watched a large number of home care and home health people trying to keep people hired. Trying to keep them hired, trying to get good people, get them trained, and then keep them on. So if you are not at that point, so for example, if you're listening to this and we caught you early enough so that you're not quite there, something to keep in mind is the cost of care is rising. It's not going down. If you are the child of somebody who is aging, again, something to keep in mind, how to pay for the care. Because that cost is, again, it's not going down, it's going up. So planning ahead is huge. Again, if we've caught you soon enough, then good financial advisor, get them on your team, pester them with questions, sit down, get real serious about where you are and where you're going to be. So is it the Japanese adage that says the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago? But the next best time to plant a tree is right now. So if you're sitting there going, well, I've screwed this up, I haven't planned far enough advance, knock it off, quit doing that, and get going right now. There are so many things that are available. So visit with your financial guy or gal, talk to them, say, here's what we want to do. We want to stay in our house as long as we are able to do that. And we want to make sure that we can afford to do that. And so there's a number of different tools, a number of different strategies. Get on that right now. Now, how does this tie to your sweetheart? Well, again, if your sweetheart is going to be the person who's kind of the front line to, keep an eye on you, take care of you, remind you of your, doctor's appointments, and then ask for a report when you're done. Now, I may be saying this because my wife asked for a report after I was done yesterday, and I wasn't as forthcoming as she thought I should be, which she's probably right. I could have done a better job. So if that's the person, how do you help her or him to take care of you? How do you help? And again, go back to your board. Insist on getting organized and getting that put together now. Insist on sitting down with your financial advisor. And talk about options, talk about where you want to be, and then he or she can help you to design a plan to get there. And yes, 20 years ago would be great. Right now is good, really good. So don't put it off because you think, well, I screwed that up. No. Get in there. Talk to someone that knows. So that's the financial side. And that's how you can help your sweetheart or help you to take care of your sweetheart, is to make sure that you'll have funds to continue to have a board of advisors. And a big one here now is your health, your physical health. A couple of things that come to mind. One is your medical care, your getting in shape, staying in shape, your visiting with your medical team and listening carefully and doing what they say to do or recommend. If there are things that you need to work on and you're not at that place yet to let somebody just step in and take care of you, then you've got to take charge. You got to be in control of that. So what does that mean? A couple of things. Generally, diet. I'm not sitting here advocating you go on a diet, but many of us are eating stuff that we shouldn't, and maybe not enough of what we should. Understand where you need to be, and again, with medical, experts, the professionals, not from me. So getting nutrition is critical. It's understanding any of the health challenges that you might have. As you age, they seem to pop up regularly. So stay on top of that, visit with your doctor or doctors, and do that on an ongoing basis. For me, January was catch all of the doctors and the medical personnel. It's been a journey to do it all in 1 month, but I just kind of wanted to get it done. And get that taken care of, and so that's a huge step. So in connection with those professionals, figure out where you should be on your diet, what you should be eating, what you shouldn't be eating, what medications would help you to maintain your health, to keep you able to stay at home longer. What medications are there? Are you staying current on those? You and your sweetheart can, joke about this because it's generally not just one of you taking medications. It's often both of you. So visit, keep an eye on each other. Are we taking those medications? And you got to stay on top of that. And then again, probably once a year, you got to check in with your doc and say, yeah, how are we doing? And he checks your blood pressure and he goes, okay, we're going to adjust your medication. Or whatever it might be. If you have breathing issues, you've got allergies, all this you should stay with. Because one of the next things that's really huge is getting sleep, getting enough sleep. As we age, according to what I've read, I'm no expert on this, but as we age, we tend to not sleep as well as we did younger. And so that can be a challenge to take care of those things that help us to sleep better. Breathing is one of those that allows us to sleep better, to get better sleep, more high quality sleep. So sleeping longer, higher quality sleep, both of those are important. And if you're not breathing, you're not sleeping very well. Visit with your doctor, visit with your allergist. For me, it's the allergist, and there's some strategies that we do to make sure that I sleep better. Now, snoring isn't necessarily a sign of not sleeping better, but it can be. And sleep apnea is a silent killer in many ways, right? Just in many ways. So these are things to keep track of. And if your spouse or your sweetheart says, all right, sweetheart, we need to talk about this, you need to talk to the doctor, don't keep putting him or her off. Visit with the doc, get a plan, figure out how to do that, okay? In addition to your diet and your medical team, exercise is really, really critical, even if it's just moving, okay? Getting up, getting out of the chair, getting out of bed, walking, If you can go outside and take a walk together. One doctor said, don't run for your life, walk with your wife. And I kind of agree with that. And the two of you can kind of push each other out the door. Hey, it's early, it's dark, it's cold, let's get going. Now, if you don't need to go first thing in the morning, that's fine too. But walking is huge. Get out, walk, get the blood going, breathe out there a little bit. At home, stretching is so good. Stretching just help you to maintain your strength, keep you limber, work on your balance. These are all really important things. So stretching is good. My wife does some cardio. Great. There's a number of ways to do cardio, even if you don't think you need to. You're sitting going, I can't get up and do jumping jacks. Okay, I get that. There are other ways to get your cardio. Lifting some weights can really exercise the heart and keep the blood flowing, oxygenate the body. These are things that are really, really important. Now, if you don't do that, or you haven't done that, you might find it difficult to get started. That's why your sweetheart's there, and your family for that matter, as they help you to get started and to hold you accountable so that you continue to do that on an ongoing basis. These things are just really, really important. So your medical experts, your diet, your sleeping, your exercise. Also, this is really interesting because it affects your mental as well, and that is your socialization. That is, do you have, my mother-in-law, it was book club, and later it was just club. They had club. This is a number of ladies that have known each other since high school, and they'd get together, I don't know, every month, every other week. And they just get together and visit. And for the longest time, they had a book that they were reading, and they talked about it. And even the book part, while good and huge, just getting together and visiting, maintaining those connections. Huge for brain health, huge for you emotionally. So what's your socialization? Hopefully it's not sitting in front of the TV, not these days. Hopefully you've got some people that you can visit with, that you can talk with. Family. Just bought my mom a little device called the Portal. It's Facebook Portal. And I can call her on it, and we have a face-to-face visit. There's other ones too. It's not the only one. But it's been huge because it's been pretty easy for her to answer my call or to make a call. And I get to get eyes on and see how she's really doing. But she just loves to see us and visit. She doesn't have to hold the phone in her hand. She's got some arthritis that makes things with a phone really difficult. This was a big boost. Now, is that the only thing? No, she's got grandkids that come and visit her. There's one that comes Monday nights and watches NCIS with her. She loves Ducky on NCIS. But this is huge. It keeps her going. It keeps her mentally moving forward. So huge to add to your exercise and the other things that keep you going. So here's another place for someone on your personal board of advisors, is someone who can say, Mark, how are you doing? Do you have some friends? Are you visiting with your family? One of the things that really depresses me a little bit is when families don't get along. And you've got estranged family members, and somebody is telling me about a son or a daughter that doesn't visit with them, doesn't contact them, doesn't write them, doesn't phone them. That is so sad. Figure out maybe how to reconcile, figure out how to get that socialization and keep those friends and family. Now, another place to turn, and it also impacts your spiritual well-being, is church. Are you active in church? Do you go to meetings? I know that some of that's difficult right now, but I've noticed most churches have a Zoom option so that you can still, participate and be involved in church meetings, even if it's, long distance. But maybe you have friends there, maybe there are people that come by and visit. This is all awesome. Take advantage of it. And offer it to other people. Even if you can't go by, call them up and say, hey, I haven't seen you for a while. I just thought I'd say, hey, how are you doing? So this is great to have on your rope team as well, as people that you can reach out to, and you have that mutual friendship and contact, and then you can, help each other and keep the mind going, keep the blood flowing. These are great things to do. One other thing maybe to talk about when we're talking about health is where you reside, where you live. And I don't mean whether you're in Boise or Meridian, Idaho, or Idaho Falls. I mean the home, the house that you live in, the apartment that you live in, wherever you are physically located. There are things there that you need to pay attention to. So that we can promote good health, and a big one is to promote our safety. And so, if your home is older, if you're staying in the family home and it's large, right? It's 4,500 square feet, 5,000 square feet, because you raised a family there. That's huge. That's a big house, and if it's just the two of you, that's a lot to take care of. And if you have the older carpet, you could trip and fall. If you've got, throw rugs, those can be dangerous. That shag carpet, the thick pile, shag carpet, that can be dangerous. If you have handrails, the bathroom is one of the most dangerous places. And so there's so much you can do in there to make sure that you're safe. The shower is deadly. The tub's not much better. Handrails, do you have it, the non-stick surfaces? This is a great place where you can help a loved one to make sure that they're okay. Both going to the bathroom and bathing. These are things that are dangerous if we're not prepared. So as we go through and we can see the things that make up our physical health, you can see why the financial can be very important, and that we've set it up so that we can take care of these things. None of this is easy, none of it's cheap, but with a little bit of work, it doesn't have to be too expensive, but it can really help your personal safety. And speaking as the child of someone who's at a point where they need a little bit of help, really takes a lot off my mind knowing that these things are being taken care of. All right, so safe, comfortable, high quality of life. These are things that just can help us both physically and emotionally, spiritually, intellectual. I know so many people that kind of cash it in after a while. This can really promote brain health by being involved intellectually. If you do crossword puzzles, do crossword puzzles. If you do Sudoku, do Sudoku. But they find that music is very helpful. Playing an instrument really helps those neural pathways. I read something that says playing an instrument and singing at the same time helps to develop those neural pathways and promote brain health. Here's something for you to think about. I got a guitar and I sing. Maybe not awesomely, but there's a few things that we can do. Piano and singing. Now, if you're playing the clarinet, clarinet and singing are probably incompatible, but get that clarinet out and wail on it. Of course, until the neighbors say, please don't. And that would probably be the accordion anyway, where maybe you're getting some, some critics going, Mark, not the accordion. However, music is huge. Listening to good music, listening to your music. I've been in some of the assisted living communities, and there was music playing, but most of the residents didn't recognize what was playing, and so they found that it's really helpful for us to play our music from our day, because one, it was much better than today's music. Everybody knows that, and my music was better than your music. I can just tell you that right now. Okay. All right, so keep that in mind. All right, so how do we pull this all together? Who do we have on the team? We have each other. I think we should be on each other's team, right? We should be on that personal board of advisors because we're going to depend on each other. We need somebody to keep an eye on us, somebody up close and personal, and somebody who's not going to take our guff. Somebody to say, oh, no, I see what's going on. We talked about having friends. And friends, we're looking at those for that social interaction. Church groups, it's got both the social interaction, which is huge, but we can also have that component of coming by and checking in on you. And that's a little bit different, and that's huge. To go along with that group, maybe you start with each other. That can be, over time, that can be very taxing. Statistically, there's a lot that happens to a caregiver. It can be very difficult. Family, if you've got family nearby, again, we talked about the contact. I think that's huge. Good for mental health, good for emotional health. And then I know some that play games with their grandkids, which is awesome. And they do that long distance. So that's huge. But family nearby, family that can come by and help clean, do some of the light housework. If you're at the family home and there's yard work to do, the grandkids, it's a great place to start anyway. Great for them to come and see grandma or grandpa, on an ongoing basis, and getting them involved with mowing lawns, raking leaves, that type of thing, taking care of gardens. This can all be huge. So these are folks that can come in. I want to mention one more that ties back into the financial. There may come a time, very, very often, where you need perhaps professional help, somebody that you're going to pay, whether it's home care, whether it's home health. Maybe you're looking at independent living or assisted living or memory care. There comes a time when your sweetheart just can't do it all by his or herself. And if I could make a plea for you to recognize that, especially if it's a physical issue that we're talking about. Even the bathing and the toileting and getting in and out of bed, these things can take a toll. So you may need sooner than you'd like. Somebody that knows how to do it. Professionals who are trained, and professionals who come in and are professional and allow you to be mom or dad or grandma or grandpa to a number of choice human beings. I've watched as families have become the caregivers for parents and grandparents, and it changes the nature of their relationship. It can be very difficult. You can go from being mom and dad, being the favorite child, to barking at someone to get them to bathe and, to be safe. And you know what? That's just not fun. It may be time, when you get here, it may be time to look at people who can, jump in and fill that slot. Keep in mind that there are all kinds of options. It's not an all or nothing sort of a thing. As we talk with the home care people, what do you want? Do you need, 4 or 5 hours a week from them? Do you have family that does this and that, and you need them to do this other thing? This is something to keep in mind and to keep an open mind about, because you can get that type of health or help in, and it can be really spendy if you need lots. All of the ones that I know and would recommend will work with you to help decide how much they need to be there, and they do an extraordinary job. And one of the great things that they do is allow your kids to still be your kids and not your caregiver. Now, my mom gets really attached to the folks at her assisted living community. She gets really attached, but they're professionals, they know what they're doing, and they can get her to move. Get her to do the things that she needs to do to maintain her health, physical, emotional, mental. So those are all great things. All right, so I'm just looking at my list going, whoa, we kind of hit everything. Happy February, happy Valentine's Day. This is hoping that you have a great one and hoping that you get remembered, right? That's huge. You need to be remembered on Valentine's Day, but hoping that you will remember other people on Valentine's Day and reach out and take care of them. And then you sweethearts, take care of each other. It's a huge calling. It's a huge responsibility, but you need each other. And we need you. We need each other. We've got so many challenges going on right now. Let's be kind and patient and take care of each other. All right. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you again in a week. And we'll continue with our theme for, putting together your personal board of advisors. All right. Take care. Have an enjoyable day.